How's it going, YouTube? Oxy here, and today I'm gonna be ranking all 4 MonsterVerse movies to see from worst to best, to see, how are they? Like, what's the best one, Of course, Godzilla vs. Kong just came out. It's in theaters on HBO Max for 30 days, like a month. And yeah, with this being the supposed, for now, this is the last movie we can say. The future is uncertain. Toho, if you happen to see this, please continue it. Allow Legendary Pictures and Warner Bros. To continue, because I think you guys really do have something special on your hands here. But yeah, guys, I'm going to rank them, all 4 movies. And again, before anything, I have to mention, this is all subjective, my opinion. We're all allowed to have them. If you agree, disagree, let me know. Let me know in the comments below, have a good discussion. But yeah, guys. So, the number 4 film I think is the worst one is none other than the one that started it all, Godzilla 2014. Now, in all honesty, kaiju movies are known to have bad human characters. We all know that, but in my opinion, the first, I'd say not half, but I think it's 40-ish, 45 minutes, with Bryan Cranston's character, for those that don't know, Heisenberg from Breaking Bad. He was in this movie, and he's excellent, just really good. The whole story with him and, his wife and her dying and, all that, and the son, it's actually really, compelling. And, like I said, first 45 minutes, I think Godzilla 2014 has the best human story of all 4 MonsterVerse movies. But, yeah, it's other than that, I mean, look, I appreciate the more grounded, gritty, human, tone of this movie. I mean, just look at Godzilla, 1954, the one that started it all. Obviously, that's a very depressing movie. It's dark, It's essentially, it's a metaphor, right, for the atomic bombs of Hiroshima and Nagasaki. It's a metaphor for, human, our own, creation could be our demise, and what essentially the monster Godzilla that we created, right? It represents what that can do. And I appreciate the darker tone of the movie, but that's the thing. If your movie is called Godzilla, Godzilla's got to be in the movie. And one main issue with this is just that he's barely in the movie. I think if I'm not mistaken, in total he's only in it 20 minutes, and half of that is background. And again, that's the thing. If this was some other disaster movie, I think it'd be alright. But being a Godzilla movie, and the first Godzilla movie in over 10 years at the time of release, 2014, with the last one being Godzilla Final Wars in 2004, you would think it's come on, you wanna, we're all here for the big guy, the G-Man, and it's you barely get him in it. It's they always blue ball you, the scene with Godzilla and the male Muto attacking in San Francisco, and what happens? The door's closed, cut away to some news report of it, and it's that's what we're here to see. And I respect Gareth Edwards, the director, for everything he did, and again, I appreciate it, but just in my opinion, I think it's the weakest of the 4. So, this might be a little controversial, but my number 3 pick for the MonsterVerse is Kong Skull Island. And yeah, I mean, hey, what can I say? Definitely, in my opinion, an improvement to Godzilla 2014. I mean, it's the first, it's funny I say this, the first original Kong movie since, I believe the 70s or 80s. The one where he has a wife, a girl. I know, it's crazy to think, because that's the problem with Kong, is 1933's King Kong is without a doubt like one of the most important films in cinema, period. But it's like, and then you have like the 1970s remake, yeah, the 2005 Percy Jackson, that really long Peter Jackson, sorry. I said Percy. Whoops. Peter Jackson movie, and it's like, it's an epic movie, but that's the thing. Kong is always like, they just keep remaking the original, and what I appreciate about Kong Skull Island is that we finally get like an original story. We're on Skull Island, and it's like Kong is the biggest he's ever been up to that point. And it's just awesome. It's like a really nice like war movie in a way, because obviously it's set in the 70s, so Vietnam and all that. And you have Samuel Jackson. I love his character. The human story, I think, is better than 2014. Like I said, the first, with Bryan Cranston, essentially, that's like the best humans we've had in the whole series. But I think overall, Kong Skull Island has better characters. I mean, some that fail really are like that one soldier that, I guess, where the movie tries to make us care about that he has a son and he ultimately dies, but it's like, look, we don't know you, I don't care, I'm here to see the big monkey, it's like, we don't care. But Samuel L. Jackson plays a good villain, a good, like, counter to Kong. The line he says where, we're gonna show that monkey that man is king, and then ultimately it's like, no, nature rules. And it's like, I really liked it. And for once, monster fights aren't in the dark and in the rain. We're actually in like full daylight. And the skull crawlers are a really cool enemy for Kong. And I love the little bit about they're the ones that ultimately killed off his race. Or, from what we know up to that point in the series. And yeah, I think Kong Skull Island is really good. Like, it's a solid film, good film. And I think, yeah, the human aspect works for it. Like, the characters are funny. It's better than 2014. And I know, this is, like, it's a little controversial because some people might think that this is better than this. But my number 2 film is Godzilla, King of the Monsters. I mean, what can I say? I mean, it's like, this is what we were all wanting up until that point. Obviously, you're going for a kaiju film. It's like, what do you want to see? The monsters. And I think it delivers better than 2014. With Kong, I think they're like about the same, as in like how long they're in it each. But of course, KOTM has the bonus of, obviously, we're introducing Mothra, Rodan, Ghidorah. I mean, I'm talking about legends, like, just awesome. Get to see them, like, for the first time on the American side, of films. And it's like, I think it didn't disappoint. The monster action is superb. That's why I rank it higher. Like, it was just really cool to see them and, like, the battles. Now, I will admit, the human story in this is, like, parts of it are easily some of the worst, especially that character. I think you guys will know what I mean. The white-haired guy, the one always cracking jokes. God, so annoying. Like, I don't know about you guys, but I wanted to pop that dude in the face sometimes. Like, it was, like, a lot of his jokes just weren't funny. Like, they were very cringy, and, like, it really took out of it for me. Like, I hated that character. Easily the worst one in the whole series. But yeah, it's like, the monster action is superb. Ghidorah is like a believable threat to Godzilla. Obviously, with all the Toho fans, the honest rivalry these two have. The storied rivalry, I should say, is like, it was just good to see. And like, one thing I loved is like, with this film, it's the one that really introduces the whole, like, more, I won't say wacky, but, like, sci-fi elements, Like, the more, Ghidorah is an alien. Like, in the film, it is said he's not from this world. And I guess what I'm trying to say is with King of the Monsters, they really were, like, planting the seeds to what we would eventually get in GVK. And I really appreciated that. And I think the monster action delivers. Now, admittedly, it's still in the rain, in the dark. You know, it would have been nice, like, Kong Skull Island to have it in the day where we could see them better. But I will say it is an improvement over 2014 that they are in the dark, but it's more visible with obviously the monsters having more like the atomic breath on Godzilla, like the blue Ghidra with his like electricity, the yellow, like they're more visible in the dark, if that makes sense. Like Pacific Rim, you know, where they had that big fight in the city, but it's all the neon and everything. Like, you could see what was going on better. And yeah, I just love that King of the Monsters was, like, really, like, you know, putting into, like, third, fourth gear, right, in your car. Like, it's like, oh, yeah, we're, like, this is where the good part, right? We're getting introduced to all the monsters, and, like, it really feels like a cinematic universe, the MonsterVerse, right? So, ultimately, what do I think is the best film? I don't think it's a surprise to anyone, but it's, of course, Godzilla vs. Kong. The most recent film, of course. It's not out yet on Blu-ray. I don't have it. But, I mean, come on. For all kaiju fans, I don't think, like, I really had to talk about it much. It's like, just, as a fan, 10 out of 10. I mean, it's like, you're advertised Godzilla vs. Kong. And you get that. You get the big lizard fighting the big monkey, you know? Like, you get what you paid for and more. I would say in excess. Like, there's like 4 major fights, I would say. Obviously, so I will give a spoiler warning here just because, again, it's out as of time of recording. So, you know, if you don't want to know, you know, you've been warned. You got Godzilla easily winning the first matchup. Kong, I've definitely give the second one, you know, the axe, the trailer moment, right? Boom. Third one, we get the definitive winner, and I am glad that they went with the G-Man Godzilla, you know, in wrestling terms. It was his turn, right? Obviously, in the original King Kong versus Godzilla, Kong won. And so, hey, it was 1-0, and it's nice in the rematch, Godzilla won. So we're at 1-1, and maybe eventually, I don't know, hopefully not in another 60 years like the distance between the original and now, we'll get a third fight and maybe we'll get the definitive who is the winner. But the nice thing was that Kong wasn't weak. I mean, obviously, Mechagodzilla was in the movie, and God, can we say Mechagodzilla in this film, easily like the best iteration we've ever had. Like, just... Now, I will admit, I didn't like that he was, like, beating Godzilla so much, or, like, I guess that Godzilla didn't get much offense in. But at the counter, too, is, like, they made Kong look strong as well, because obviously he was the one that delivered the finishing blow to Mechagodzilla, but it wasn't without Godzilla's help. Of course, he powered up the axe. And, yeah, they both look strong in the end, and we pretty much... The way it sets up for a potential future, I could say, is that Godzilla is the king of, like, surface Earth, and Kong is, like, the king of hollow Earth. And maybe in the future, you should check out my video talking about direction they could take it is, like, yeah, it's definitely, like, it could be Kong, like, fighting, I guess, exploring the hollow Earth and what new... enemies, right? New, like, obstacles he has to overcome. Or, hopefully, if Toho extends all their monsters licenses, you know, we get, like, a third Godzilla film, because GVK is more of a Kong film, honestly. And, who knows, maybe we'll introduce, like, some of their other monsters, maybe get Gigan, Biolante, you get the idea. Like, but yeah. And I know the listing was pretty much release order. Like, the order the movies came out, like, 2014, Kong, King of the Monsters, GVK. But I genuinely do believe, like, as they've come out, they've improved, like, which is rare to see in film, right? It's usually, like, films will try to do a trilogy, and the first one's really good. Second one is usually like a little worse, you know, not as good, and the third one's usually awful. But honestly, it's like with this, I really feel like every film is built upon it. Now, again, release order chronologically, Kong Skull Island takes place. It's the first film in the story. Then 2014, King of the Monsters, and GVK. And if you do it, base it off that, I think Kong is like, again, I put it at number 3. And that is debatable. Between number 3 and 2, you could argue both ways. Kong Skull Island or King of the Monsters are both great, good films, like good fun. But I just, you know, trying to keep the bias low is like, I just love King of the Monsters. Like, I rewatched all of them in chronological order, like Kong Skull Island first, to, you know, keep it within canon, right? And yeah, I don't know, I just loved it more. Like, it was just, seeing Mothra, Ghidra, like, it was just awesome. And GVK, I'm gonna rewatch it again, and like, yeah, just all around great film. Like, it was just a blast. Like, it was fantastic. You got what you paid for. Just awesome. But yeah, guys, that was just my video today. Just ranking the 4 MonsterVerse movies. And let me know what you think. Do you agree? Disagree? It's all okay. We're all allowed to have opinions. But yeah, guys, make sure to keep up with the videos. I'm going to probably do a couple more Godzilla versus Kong related videos, or I guess I'll say MonsterVerse videos, like, in general. And yeah, just be on the lookout for that. And don't forget to like, share, subscribe, hit the notification bell, all that good jazz. And with that, I've been your host, Oxy, and I'll see you next time. Take care, guys.